building companies that are resilient, where one little thing doesn't create the collapse. We want our larger institutions, these large corporations, universities, governments, even to the extent they're producing societal surplus and doing good, we should want them to endure and to not only endure, but to thrive and continue to provide that societal surplus. If they're not providing societal surplus, then fine, let's let them go out of business or cease to exist. If they're doing good, we should want them to endure. It's through these large organizations that we collaborate as people and solve important problems. These large organizations can do things that you or I as individuals cannot, or small teams cannot. And so we need them to be effective. And my experience at Arthur Andersen started this path of just understanding what makes an organization resilient, what makes an organization fragile. And it proves out that a lot of the work that organizations do to try to be more resilient, ironically, actually leads them to be more fragile and more susceptible to failure. And I think this is something more people need to know about. If they're serious about building resilient, enduring institutions, we're going about it the wrong way.
Out of the most resilient organizations that you've worked with and partnered with and even seen with your own experiences, what would you say is the number one characteristic that they all share in some shape or form?
They have an ability, they have a deep care for their stakeholders, their customers, past, present, and future. And this is the difference. I was in Japan last week where we're launching a company. And I went to this temple in Kyoto, where called Kiyomizu Temple. It's an amazing place. Old, I think it was originally built in the 600s. And the process for manufacturing that temple is almost a sacred thing. So they're very careful about where the wood is sourced from and the construction techniques that are used. And what I learned from a Japanese colleague we were there with was that the temple actually owns a couple of mountains nearby where the trees are grown to produce the wood for the temple. And they just redid the floors at this temple a couple of years ago. The wood lasts about 15 years, but those trees that they used to do the floor were planted for that purpose by someone 400 years ago. And the people who are running that temple today are planting trees that will be harvested 400 years from now to replace the floors. That's incredible that they're thinking about that in terms of those timeframes, well beyond their own lifetimes. And that type of understanding and concern and care for stakeholders past, present, and future is what leads to these organizations, helps them to be more resilient. In the corporate world, there's a good example of this too. A few years ago, Jeff Bezos, when he was running Amazon, he was asked, or caused a controversy when he was at a company meeting and explained to the employees of Amazon that Amazon was going to go bankrupt one day, certainly would fail and go out of business one day. Of course, that's true. But everyone thought, how, as the CEO of a company, how can you possibly say this thing? And that it's important to note what he also said after that to the employees. He said it was their job to prolong the company's existence and to put off that bankruptcy for as long as possible by continuously experimenting in the service or customer needs. So it's continuous experimentation and service or customer needs. As long as the organization can do that effectively, it deserves to stick around and to survive. That ability to continuously experiment in service of that is what leads to these organizations become really resilient.